this COVID stuff, it's not all bad news. It's not all just dark clouds and rain, because at least Marquise Chris gets another shot at the NBA. I was lost wondering what he was doing. I've been thinking, staying up nights, being like, I wonder where Marquise Chris is right now. He is just one of my favorite irrelevant players, and now he's back. He is here. I needed my Marquise Chris fix. Like, take the words of Celtics coach Ime Udoka. This is the best time in history to be a G League guy or a free agent player, or a 40-year-old dying to get back in the league. Lance Stevenson is on a roster, folks. Yes. If you've been struggling overseas to get on a roster, you've been in Israel, or you're toiling for the Iowa Energy for a few years, or fuck it, say you're old, you don't want to play around in the G League to try to get back in. Maybe you've been on the Big Three hanging out. Now is your time. The Winter Showcase just took place in Vegas, and there were guys who have never been on a G League roster ever in history. They showed up, played one G League game in front of real NBA executives who were evaluating them, were signed as soon as the game was over. This is not an exaggeration. As soon as the game, sweat on your face, towel over your neck. Hey, do you want to come play for the Houston Rockets? Well, actually, not the Houston Rockets, because they're actually getting rid of guys. But you know what I'm saying. This point stands. So with those new rules that we just talked about, there's an absolute bonanza of signings. Players who haven't played in years now getting run because of this expanded roster rule. Guys like Isaiah Thomas are in the starting lineup. Got signed one day, next day in the starting lineup for the Los Angeles Lakers. What are we talking about right now? This is a reality. That is not a joke. It sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. Slow grind turned into a fast fucking grind for Isaiah Thomas. Boom. Are you kidding me? Marquise Chris has not played since the 2019 season. Back. Up and down guys like Admiral Schofield. Back. Langston Galloway. Back. Alfonso McKinney. Emmanuel Mudiay. Wenyen Gabriel, Portland legend. Theo Pinson. Justin Jackson, North Carolina legend. Back in the league. Lance, blow him a kiss. Stevenson, back in the league. CJ Miles, 15-year veteran, has not played since 2019, 3 years ago, back. Hasheem Thabit, back. There are a ton of players also now that you've never heard of on NBA rosters. Never in your life heard these words uttered out of my mouth. We're going to go there. Quindary Weatherspoon. Jamario Jones. Trevelyan Queen. Hassani Gravett. Names, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing them correctly. Even, get this, it's Christmas time. Charlie Brown is on a roster. Charlie Brown. These guys are in the NBA, and they're going to get minutes. These guys, you've never heard of their names, getting minutes. No matter what happens, no matter how long this lasts for, they can say for the end of time they were an NBA player. I played in the NBA. I did. I played this game. They're probably going to queue it up on their Xfinity app. It's going to be saved. Save this thing. Extend it out another hour in case we go to overtime. Every minute of this action is now going to be recorded in history. They're going to even get basketball cards, NFTs. Probably they're going to be on Top Shot. You imagine, G League Scrubs, Top Shot. That's got to get sold. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a game where Charlie Brown gets 17, 8, and 8. And he gets signed to a big contract. This is the American dream happening right here. This is the unintended consequence of COVID. COVID just making dreams come true. Truthfully, when would Charlie Brown have ever gotten a look by any real NBA executive? There are real scouts putting their eyeballs on film and evaluating Charlie Brown. Think about that. They've watched tape of him. And oh yeah, he's got a decent crossover. They would never even look at him. Never. The NBA is impossible to break into unless you've gotten a huge break. And it's kind of a racket because they'd rather recycle these dudes like Jared Dudley, or you've got DeAndre Jordan, who's trash. Got one of the worst plus minuses in NBA history. Just keeps ending up on rosters just because of what he did in 2012. And guys like Charlie Brown, you never know. My favorite signing, though, by far, ISO Joe is back. Yes, he is. 40-year-old Joe Johnson, who has been just killing in the Big Three since leaving the league in 2017, was just signed by the Celtics. Dude is still a bucket, I guess, but come on. You're going to play on Christmas Day? You got ISO Joe, playing on Christmas Day, folks. And let me just say this. His nickname, I went through because, I'm an insane person. He has a nickname, maybe the greatest NBA nickname I've ever heard. The Armadillo Cowboy.
What?
Yeah. Armadillo Cowboy coming in. That's the lead. We're going to get into why. What a tremendous story about how he got that nickname. And all that reminds me of this. Is like, you got the Armadillo ISO Joe Cowboy playing on Christmas Day, and you have a 7-footer who can shoot the three and handle the rock out of Illinois by the name of Myers Leonard, and he is not even sniffing a job. Think about that, folks. You've got a guy who was paid $10 million a year just a year ago, playing on the Miami Heat, who now no one will even look. He is a leper in the NBA. What that says to me is that there are owners with a certain line. They allow things to slide, probably like domestic violence, and other things they do not. And the red line for them, for a 7-footer with a 3-pointer getting run with the Toronto Raptors, instead of him getting run, he's selling his $1 million mansion and pushing his energy company that he co-founded with his wife. And the question is why? Because the hard line is a word that rhymes with spike. I'm not even going to say it. You can't say the name, the slur, the racial slur that rhymes with spike is where you end up crossing the line, folks. That's what it is. So instead of playing hoops, he's selling all of his assets, and he started a new nutritional company, and he's out the league. So get used to seeing a lot of familiar names as well as unfamiliar names the rest of the season. And I tell you what, this is just we are just on Omarion right now. Think about PQRSTUVWXYZ. Like, think about how many more variants. And then we could circle back around to the beginning of the alphabet all over again, folks. Maybe there'll be an Alfonso variant. Maybe we'll start getting into new, global variant names. Who knows? This is just a glimpse into the NBA's future. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Charlie Brown on the front cover of a Wheaties box.